Good Friday morning, Delaware. What a week we've had.
What a week.
We saw sunshine.
I don't have a coat today.
I'm proud of you.
I don't have a coat.
Usually
I don't have
your bundle.
I know, and it's a big man coat because women, if you don't know the secret, men get all the pockets.
Yeah.
They get all the pockets, and I'm never buying a woman's coat again because there are like 30 pockets in my coat.
Well, and then just, if you want it a little bit more fitted, like add a belt. Okay.
I mean, even without it, my sister says I look like a 5-year-old. It's so big on me. And I'm like, you know what, though? I'm warm.
I have pockets.
I have pockets and I'm warm. They're warmer than women's coats. I argue it. Women go out and buy men's coats.
I know. I can't. I'm over coats. It's February, but I'm already over coats. All right. That's enough of that. We had sunshine. The radio show is here. Your Friday can begin. You're welcome. We are here. It's off the shelf. And we've got a special guest with us this morning. Miss Ashley Mensah. We're so happy to have you here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ashley might sound familiar. The name might sound familiar. She was with the Delaware County District Library a handful of years ago. We won't say how many because we're ladies here.
Yes.
But now she's back, and she is the manager of our Orange Branch Library. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in the second half of the show. You can get to know Ashley a little bit more.
We're so excited to have you here.
Yeah.
I think I say that to you like every time I see you. I'm so excited you're here.
Yes, I feel the same way. I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
Yes, it's just nice. It's like a nice little homecoming. All right, well, we will get to some books that we're reading, some good recommendations this morning. Molly, do you have something good for us?
I do. This one was kind of interesting. I've been jumping around. I'm kind of back into some management books. And this one I don't know if it's management, but it's sort of life, ways to look at life. It's self-help. I love self-help. I'm not going to lie. Self-help helps me.
Yeah, exactly.
I read Illogical, Saying Yes to a Life Without Limits by Emmanuel Acho. I'm probably saying his name wrong. Sorry, football fans. He was a football player.
I think you could say Ocho.
Ocho?
Yeah,
I think
I said
correct.
okay. I got it
Yeah.
right. Okay. I always feel bad when I don't. And I listen to the book, so you think I would have gotten it. What I loved about this book is very upbeat for one. In February, I can't read really heavy books. I don't know if you've noticed, but in February, everybody is done. Everybody in the world. I don't blame anybody. I get snapped at more by the people around me. I snap at them more. I think there's something with the gray.
This is true. Actually, within teaching, I have learned that, gosh, someone just described it this week, and I can't remember the term, but it's called something terrible, like the pit of despair.
Yes.
In the world of teaching, it's the slump after the holidays. It's the gray of the time of year. It's also the kind of build up into the beginning of the start of the second semester, and so it's a studied, proven fact. And they were saying, I'm using the wrong terminology, but they were like, it's the pit of despair in education right now. So hug a teacher.
And I'll tell you, when I was a new manager, I used to put in my calendar, it's February. Everybody's going to complain to you. Don't take it personally.
Oh, that's a good note.
Like, it was sort of like a reminder. It was after my third year because I'd had 2 years of it. And somehow I guess I was keeping notes that I realized, it's just a really hard time.
Yeah.
They need someone to kind of be unhappy with. It's a safe place. If they're complaining to me like this, I'm a safe place.
That's a great way to put it.
So I try not to take anything too personally. You say to me in February. I mean, please don't use that to like really be mean.
Right.
But I keep my books really light. I try to keep things. So this was the perfect book. He says something I've never heard before. He talks about he doesn't believe in setting goals because when he failed at his goals, it was a lot harder to go forward. Now he leans into the things he's good at and he goes forward with that. So he's kind of, he just says yes. And I believe in saying yes. So every time an opportunity would come, he'd kind of say yes and lean into it, especially if it was something that highlighted what he was talented at, those special things that makes Emmanuel Acho.
Yeah.
And it's just led him forward. He's never expected more. He's worked hard at everything he's done. You hear even when he had injuries as a football player and he couldn't play because his thumb was broken, he was out there in the in-between just working to try to get there in such a difficult field.
So you'll like this if you are looking for like a management leadership style book, but you'll also like this maybe if you're a little bit interested in Emmanuel Acho himself and as the athlete and
you get a lot of his history in this. You know, reading some of the reviews, some people are like, oh, it's just another self-help book to make you feel good. And I was like, you're right, but also it did make me kind of reframe. Sometimes we forget that when we set goals that we can't reach, that knocks us down 3 more pegs that we didn't need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, I still am going to be setting goals. I'm a goal setter. But remembering to put those into a balance, you know, because sometimes I could set a goal, let's say, to decorate my entire house. But as I start decorating my house, the goal changes to just simply making my living room one that somebody wants to drop by and hang out at.
Yeah.
Like a niece or nephew, you know?
Right.
So it's allowing your goals to evolve with your talents and your skills and where you are. It was really kind of a book I needed. Again, February, his energy, he reads his own book.
Oh, nice.
He's a beautiful reader.
Yes.
He is a beautiful reader. He's done several others. He's probably best known for Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. Fantastic book. That's next on my list.
And also,
I happen to get these out of order.
A visual series that goes along with it too.
Yes.
You can find it on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah,
and
he's
all
done a
those
great
places.
job, and he talks a lot about forming that, what brought him to form that, all of those things. I think I'm now a fan. I'm still not going to watch footballs.
That's fine.
But I cheer it on, and if you're watching footballs, I'm cheering you on, cheering on your teams.
Yeah.
And I love the advice and things that can come out of that. They work so hard in these different sports balls, and there's a lot we can take from that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
You know.
a perfect segue because this Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh,
Is it?
wow.
I mean, yes, it is.
Yes.
Yep, that's what it is.
It is Super Bowl Sunday.
I
and
knew that.
Ashley, I think the book you brought has like snacks in it.
Oh,
So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Perfect timing. So tell us about your book.
Well, this is a book that someone at the library recommended to me. I do love to have Super Bowl snacks ready, so I'm glad you reminded me about that.
Yeah, Sunday. It's evening, 6:30 kickoff.
Okay. I'm taking notes.
I wanted to say about Emmanuel. I've heard him speak, and he's a great speaker.
You have. You can
Not like
hear
in
it.
person, but like
Yeah.
just like on TV. Like, yeah.
The reading of the book was so comfortable. It was so easy to listen to. It was only 4 hours.
Oh,
Most
that's
of his
nice.
books are only 4 hours.
Yeah.
Great.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you never lost. He never lost you. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So this book that I have today would be good for like a nice brunch to add with your Super Bowl snack. So it's called 100 Morning Treats. And it has muffins, rolls, biscuits, some savory breakfast breads, and a lot more. Someone shared this at the library with me, so I just put it on hold. And the recipes are, kind of ingredients that you might already have in the house.
That's nice.
Which I really like.
Yes.
There might be some occasional, recipes or ingredients that you might need to get, but just good recipes to follow, make the house smell good. I love making my house smell good.
Love the smell.
Yes.
And I like baking a lot too, so that I can like save things like in the freezer.
Yeah,
So this is a nice recommendation.
What's one of the first recipes that you are going to bake out of it or that you have already baked out of it? What do you have your eye on?
I have my eye on the lemon poppy seed.
Yum. I
bread.
love a
Yeah.
good lemon poppy seed.
I love poppy seed muffins, bread. The poppy seeds are just like very,
The crunch.
Yeah.
But not too crunchy
Not
for a
too-
bread.
Because that could get questionable.
Yeah.
What am I crunching on?
If you find a bone in your bread, you're doing something wrong.
Who left the eggshell in? Yes.
Right. So I'm going to give that one a go first. You can do it as muffins. You can do it as a, little quick bread, have a few loaves. So I'm going to give that a try first.
Yum. And who curated this book, this 100 Morning Treats?
This is by Sarah Keefer. And she has some other books too. There was like one for the holidays. There was one before that as well. So I feel like this might be a part of like a trilogy, to speak. But if you like baking, you like sweets, you like goodies, I would take a look at 100 Morning Treats.
Yeah, it's got some good visuals in it. I can see as you were flipping through it, but it also looks like it has a little bit of stories behind some of the
I don't know if you caught it, but your children's librarian came out where she held the book up beautifully like a picture book being read.
Yeah,
it just made my
Facebook
morning.
cameras here.
I'm like, I'm in for cooking stories. You read right away.
That's fun. Now I'm hungry. All right, I'm just living off of coffee this morning right now.
I need more coffee.
Well, I'm working my way through some children's literature this week. Not classic, new published within the last year or two. And this is a name that probably will sound very familiar to you, M.T. Anderson.
I love M.T. Anderson.
I brought up to a friend of mine that I was reading M.T. Anderson, and she said, he's still writing?
His book Feed.
Yeah.
His book Feed. His book Feed.
Feed is,
read it.
Feed is young adult, right?
Yes. And old. It was pre our phones and all this technology, and it predicted it in the worst way possible.
Yes.
It's very dystopian. I loved it.
Yeah, and so that's like where you might know a lot of his stories. But basically in 2020, M.T. Anderson, he wanted to write something from a younger perspective that was, kind of like, okay, what would a kid do in this situation? So it's called Elf Dog and Owl Head. Aww. And it is written, you can tell it was written in about 2020, 2021. It was published just a year or two ago. I'm listening to it. And it is a Newbery Honor book.
Nice.
It's a Newbery Honor. And it's a magical adventure. It's about a boy and his dog, or a dog and her boy, however you want to phrase that, and a forest of wonders that's kind of hidden in plain sight. And so what happens is Clay is a young boy. He's living with his family. He's got a younger sister and an older sister, his mom and dad. And it's 2020, and there's a virus that's spread, around the world.
Now you sound like M.T. Anderson here.
Right. and Clay is, of course, living at home and just, not doing well with it like we all weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And but they have woods behind their home. And so he goes out and he explores the woods because there's nothing better to do and he needs out of his house. Meanwhile, there's a dog, and she lives with the elfin colony that lives under the mountain.
Why do I love it? I'm like sighing every time you say elfin.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
And she lives with the elfin colony. She's one of their hunting dogs, and she's on a hunt. And she isn't quite engaged in the hunt. She doesn't really enjoy it. She questions kind of, why am I part of this hunt? I don't really like it. And so she leaves the pack. And in the midst of both of their explorations of leaving their packs respectively, they meet each other. Aww. And they become very good friends. And she decides that he will be her boy, and he decides that she will be his girl. And Aww. They continue to go through adventures in the forest. She seems like an odd looking dog. No one's ever seen anything quite like her before, but she's still his. And they continue to go on these adventures in the woods. And because she is of the elfin people under the mountain, she is able, it's so sweet, she is able to help Clay go between the worlds that we live among all day long and we never know. And so he meets other friends. He meets Amos, who is an owlhead boy of the owlhead people.
That's not as but ooh.
Yes. And they meet lots of other friends along the way. And so there's really, it's very, very nice. This is another one that I had my girls listen to with me. My kindergartner was in the car as we were listening, and my third grader was in the car, and they both understood what was happening. It was very appropriate. The attention span for the kindergartner would be a little bit rough. But they both enjoyed the context of what they heard. It was very easy for them to kind of pick up and put down, and they said, "Can we hear more about the story of the dog?" They really loved it. So it's a very sweet. Elf Dog and Owl Head by M.T. Anderson. I highly recommend listening to it, reading it, whatever way you want to consume it. M.T. Anderson is still chugging away, and even though the virus is a subplot, that's really all it is. It's just
acknowledgement this happened.
It's an acknowledgement that it happened, and it's a propulsion to get Clay out of the house. And that's all you needed for it.
Wow.
Each week, I'm not only enjoying your reviews, I'm enjoying this evolution story of your girls learning to love audiobooks.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Like, this has been really fun. Like,
Yes.
each time there's like a little quip you're adding that I'm like, you're letting us kind of see like
Oh my gosh.
children falling in love with audio.
They are. Absolutely. Find a children's book, find a good children's book, and listen to it in the car. and have your kids just kind of like catch it, even if they're on their tablets, just kind of have them catch it, and they'll pick up more than you think.
And you know, previous, Ashley, you're probably going to agree with me. Previous children's librarian here, there is a huge misnomer out there that listening is not as important as reading.
Oh,
so
false.
Wrong.
Right.
You need to hear words spoken fluently. You need to hear vocabulary.
Right. Pronunciation. Yes.
All of that really helps make a reader.
Right.
They're learning beginning, middle, and end.
Yes.
You know, I've often thought that we've lost storytelling in our culture.
Yeah.
Nobody tells their kids, you know, the old fairy tales like sitting around the table because we have other things and we got to get stuff done.
Yeah.
But I think children were learning a lot of concepts that way. Get those audiobooks out. Let them help you help your kids learn to love to read.
Right. And audiobooks are just so great to listen to. Like the narrator can just be a great voice that just pulls you in, that you want to just hear over and over. And sometimes they include like elements of music.
Yes.
You know, and it just it feels like a theatrical experience.
We could go for like 3 more hours here.
We got to go to a break. We are sending so much love to books and reading, and I hope you're a literature fan as you listen this morning. But if you're also a fan of the Orange Branch Library, you want to stay tuned because you want to hear what Ashley's got in store. So stay tuned.
What's Off the Shelf? That's the name of this show.
You got it, Gage.
Off the Shelf on My 96.7. Man, good morning, America.
We need to get you some coffee.
Yeah, right.
I was so distracted by the and
I
more.
was too. That's what threw me off. Yeah.
It threw me. Well, we're gonna have a beautiful second half of the show. We have Ashley Mensah here. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you.
Ashley is the new branch manager of our Orange Branch Library. We're so happy to have you, and both in the studio this morning and in the Orange Branch Library. And we teased a little bit that you may be a familiar face to some of the Orange Branch patrons.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about why that is?
Yeah. So several years ago, I actually worked at the Orange Branch shortly after it opened. And so I was in the youth department, loved it there. Lots of great people, lots of great memories and experiences. And then from there, I kind of went off to some other libraries and learned more, gained more, met more wonderful people in library world. And so went into some different positions, gained a lot of great experience that's really kind of stuck with me and just really shaped and molded me even more so. And so now I've just kind of returned back to where it kind of all started.
Yeah.
So it's a great feeling.
That's so nice. Were you fresh out of library school when you were at the Orange Branch Library?
No, I wasn't actually, but I think I was starting library school at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a great fit for me in that particular season. I worked with a lot of great people, learned so much from them, you know, that stuff that really sticks to you and that you can put in your pocket and use it anytime you need to pull it out. So lots of great people there in that youth department and just really throughout the system too. So yeah, and then, but I actually went to Ohio Wesleyan years ago. Delaware has really always been like, it was my first home away from home. So it's a really special place to me.
What are some of the things that you're noticing about the Orange Branch that just give you the warm fuzzies that make you feel so happy to be a part of that branch?
Definitely the people.
Yeah.
You know, it's really all about the people. Not just the staff, but really our patrons too, like helping people, giving them useful information, sharing great books with them, you know, telling them about our services and resources, you know, making them have a full experience. You know, when they walk out, they feel satisfied.
Yeah.
You know, that their needs were met. Sounds really simple, but I think it's the most important thing.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
Customer service is hard work. To
Yeah.
have excellent customer service like that.
Yeah.
What's something about the Orange Branch Library that's happening now or coming soon that excites you?
Well, there are a lot of things that are happening that excites me. We have the Geek Fest coming up.
Can't wait for Geek Fest.
Yeah, we just put some flyers out about that yesterday.
And staff from all over the system help build that. So we may be having it in Delaware, but my gosh, you've got some key players over there at Orange on some of that.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that in Delaware. But we put some flyers up in like our teen room yesterday. at our info desk to kind of get the word out about that. So we're looking forward to that. Also, our teen librarian is working on our teen volunteers.
Yeah.
You know, it's only early February still, but we've had so many.
They're interested.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are ready. They're chomping at the bit to be like,
Yeah.
okay, those service hours. And I don't know. I mean, it could be like, I got to finish them before the end of the year, or they could just be excited and I'm ready to get into them for next year.
Yeah. And then we also have some visits at the schools coming up that we're looking forward to for those partnerships for some family literacy nights.
Well, speaking of partnerships, I want to talk about something that you were instrumental in helping to happen. Coming up this Saturday, tomorrow, the League of Women Voters is going to be at the Orange Branch Library.
Yeah.
And you worked really nicely to kind of get that pairing together. What's the League of Women Voters going to be doing?
Yeah, so the League of Women Voters of Delaware County, they are doing something really helpful for the community. And what they are doing is kind of three things. They're focusing on helping people get registered to vote.
That's so important.
Yeah, definitely.
So important.
Definitely. This is kind of a big election year.
Yes.
So that's going to be really helpful.
Get registered early.
Right. Yes. The deadline is February 20th for the
Yes.
March
election.
19th primary.
That is coming up fast, people.
Really fast. So there are also any absentee ballot questions. They can help you with that. And also any issues that you want to know a little bit more about, they can answer those questions for you as well.
Yeah,
So they will be here this Saturday.
Yeah, they will be there on Saturday at the Orange Branch Library, 10:30 to 12:30. Check out our online calendar. They're also going to make an appearance at the Orange Branch Library not the Orange Branch, the Liberty Branch Library next weekend, when there is also a book sale happening for our friends of the library. They're going to be at the Delaware Main Library. So get all of that information in your pocket so that you are a prepared citizen. And I'm going to give a quick little recap. We saw Ta-Nehisi
I was
Coates.
hoping you were going to say it. If you didn't, I was jumping in.
We saw Ta-Nehisi Coates come
Best
last
quote
weekend,
ever coming.
and he mentioned that voting is like basic hygiene.
Ooh.
He
Yes.
said it is brushing
know.
your teeth. A vote is the first step. It
Yes.
is not the end.
No.
You are not married to your candidate. You are not all in on your candidate. He said your first step is to get out of bed and brush your teeth. That is voting. You get out of bed and you vote. And then the work continues.
You reach out to those candidates you voted
and
for.
you tell them what's right. You tell them what's wrong. You tell them that you're still, okay, you got there. We got there.
Yeah.
Man, he said that system, and I mean, I needed that. I needed that wording.
It was
Wow.
nice.
Yes.
Yeah, voting is your basic hygiene.
Basic hygiene.
Love that.
It was great.
Get out and vote.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, with that, we have to close the show. It has been so nice having you, Ashley. The
This has
half
gone
hour
so
just flew
fast.
by. Go to the Orange Branch Library. Meet Ashley. Stop by. You will be able to find her, and her warmth will just exude from her. She'll be easy to spot. And we're so happy to have you.
Oh, likewise. Thank
you.
you.
Molly, thank you for being my co-host this morning.
Always love it.
And Gage, thanks for running that board. All right. Until next week, we'll see you in the stacks.